All right, we're gonna make sure we're recording this week because last week's team call didn't record for some reason. So welcome to our team call for January 20th. We have been working this month on going over calls over basic topics. So we so far have gone over inviting. Last week we covered follow-ups. This week we're going to talk about overcoming objections. And then of course next week we have our Meet the Team event. So that is an event if you've never gotten on one or partaken to one. I just wanted to give you a little insight real quickly so that you can be sharing about that and inviting to it. But a Meet the Team event, essentially we have 4 or 5 coaches that hop on. I kind of introduce our team, tell a little bit about our business, and a few of us go through our stories, why we started our wellness journeys, what coaching has done for our lives, and then we cover the basics of the coaching opportunities. So how we earn income, how we earn travel, the community, the accountability, and it just really gives people a really awesome inside scoop on what coaching is all about. So if you have customers that are rocking it in your challenge groups that you think would make great coaches, those are great people to invite to Meet the Team events. If you post something about coaching and people engage on that, those are great people to invite. It's also an awesome idea to create some kind of an Instagram and Facebook story with a poll at the end, asking if people want more information to learn about coaching or if they want to join the event. So I'm mentioning this now because we have a week to be out there sharing about it, inviting to it. And I'm going to encourage all of you to really utilize those because when I was a newer coach and I didn't have a team, that was how I brought coaches onto my team. Was I utilized the coaching events that were run by my uplines and my mentors. So take advantage of these. It is such an awesome way to share coaching without you feeling like you need to explain it to someone. So that is next Wednesday night. The other thing that I wanted to mention is everyone on here on a Team Cup team? We want to make sure that there are no coaches left behind. I'm pretty sure that most people are, but if for some reason you are on a cup team or you have a coach that is not on a Team Cup team, please post in the team page that you are looking for a team because either we can get you partnered up with coaches in Erica, we need to find you a team. Either we can get you partnered up with some other coaches in the team page that don't have Team Cup teams yet, or we can post somewhere like the Difference Maker movement and find some coaches for you to partner up with. So the Team Cup is just an event where 5 coaches come together for next month to rally, to hit Success Club, change lives, rank advance, earn prizes, earn more income. It's a great way to work with other coaches, make new friends, learn some new skills, and just really have an awesome month. So I hope that everyone will be on a team. And if you know someone that is not on a team, let's work together to get them committed and on a team. And that's all. So I'm going to screen share. So we're going to go over some ways that you can learn to overcome objections, and then some of the most common objections that we get as coaches when we are sharing about challenge groups and or sharing about the coaching opportunity. And I included like the most basic ones because I could probably make a bunch more slides, but at the end, if there are specific objections that you have been getting that you don't know how to handle, you don't know how to respond to, you don't know how to answer, please just drop it in the chat, or at the end you can unmute and ask. So I'm going to screen share. Okay. Can everybody see this? I hope. All right. Sorry, my computer freezes when I hit present. All right. So last week we talked about follow-ups. The importance of follow-ups. I was just saying before this call started that in like 3 weeks, it'll be 7 years since I started coaching. And I essentially hit Success Club every single month, mainly from follow-ups. It is not always from initial invites, right? It is from building that relationship, strengthening that connection, adding value, answering questions, and also overcoming objections. And I actually love getting objections. It might sound weird, but I'm hoping that through this call, it will help you feel more confident when you do get objections, to not look at it as something that you are doing wrong, or that you're never going to find people to join you, or that what you're offering isn't amazing. But it will help you see that they, like with every type of something that you are buying, you have objections, right? Think about things, products you buy for your home, that everyone likes different things, right? Based on the price and the needs they have. And that's just the same with this. And especially because we are in a field where we are helping people with fitness and nutrition and things that are really personal to them, right? Their body, their confidence, their energy levels, their day-to-day routines. A lot of the objections that we are getting really have nothing to do with what we're offering, and everything to do with the mindset the person that you are talking to is in. And that is why it is really key to learn how to handle objections effectively, so you can change more lives, make an impact, and really grow your business. Okay. All right, so objections are normal. Don't feel weird if you are getting no, not now, it's not for me, I can't afford that. Objection should not be the end of a conversation. Please do not think that when someone gives you an objection to something that it's like the dead end, done, over with. I would say that probably most of the people that I end up helping at some point gave me some kind of objection. And I wanted to ask you guys, although I can't really see you too much while I'm talking, I want to know if you guys had objections to, number one, to starting your personal journey. Like, did you say no to a challenge group? And also, did you say no to coaching? And if you did, how many times did you say no? And this is the really important part. I want to know, why did you eventually say yes? Because I think this is going to prove the point to you that most people are going to give you some type of objection. I know I had them. I was like, I'm not spending that much on a protein shake, when Annalisa would send me things about Shakeology. I was also like, I'm a single mom. I don't have time. Like, I can't afford that, right? But eventually, the need for change became so great that I was able to move through and past all of my excuses and objections. And I think that's what we're working to get towards when we're talking to people, right? Okay. So remember this, objections are your opportunity. They're an opportunity to build trust, to share value, to give advice, help someone have a perspective shift, to share a story, your story, or an experience, and also a reason to be patient and follow up with people. So I just want to point out that sometimes even after you overcome an objection, you still might get a no, or you still might get a not now, right? Again, that doesn't mean it's the end of the conversation. It means that you need to continue to connect with that person and follow up with them over the course of time, right? So objections, what I have personally found from having so many conversations, is that most objections come from fear. They don't yet see the value of what you're offering. They need more information about what you're telling them. They just aren't ready. It isn't the right time for them. They need a perspective shift or advice. I'm big on this. I'm not afraid at all or shy about kind of, and I wouldn't say calling people out, and I wouldn't say giving tough love either, but kind of giving them a perspective shift. And I'll give you an example of that in a second. They need someone to believe in them because they don't yet believe in themselves, right? That is our job as a coach. Our job is not to just let people stay comfortable after they explain the changes we want or they want. Our job is to really help them see that we believe in them, that we can give them the tools, and that we can help them have that perspective shift to really say, yes, I'm ready to embrace change, right? And they need proof of what is possible. And so every single day when we are showing up to our journeys, to our fitness, sharing our nutrition, sharing just the confidence, the energy changes, how it's impacting your family and your day-to-day life, you are showing people the proof of what is possible, right? So I just wanted to give a quick example of when I say someone might need a perspective shift or advice. I have a woman who is a customer of mine now, and I talked to this woman for probably 3 years on and off before she said yes, right? And every single time I would talk to her, and I can't even tell you, I probably sent her a share cart 4 times, and every single time I would send her a share cart, she would ghost me for like 3 months. And I kept checking back in on her and saying, "Hey, I'm here to help you when you're ready." And every single time she would say, I'm afraid to fail. I don't think I can be consistent. I like junk food too much. I always end up eating french fries. I can't stay consistent eating well, right? So we really had to get to the root of like, it was her fear of failing. You know, we had a conversation about giving herself permission to try and not needing to be perfect. This journey doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you can never eat a french fry again in your life, right? But you have to embrace change in the beginning, and change is uncomfortable. But if you really desire change, you have to push through what's uncomfortable. And after that conversation we had, she ended up signing up, and she's been kind of on and off with her journey, but she's gotten so much better over the course of time. And that's kind of what I mean is, don't just take someone's objection and their perspective or their fear of failure as like oh, never mind, forget about them. That's your opportunity to build that relationship with someone where you can give them words of encouragement or advice or share what has helped you move through that, so that eventually they can overcome that objection that they're giving you and embrace this change for themselves. Okay. Objections are not an ending, they're a starting point. It is your job to show up confidently in the conversation. It is your job to know the value of what we offer with our tools, support, community, and coaching. It is your job to help people see the potential in the opportunity and in the journey, and that they are capable. So this is one of the best hacks that you can learn for overcoming objections, because it can work for any objection that you get, whether that is something in regards to the challenge group or Shakeology or fitness, or they don't have time, or they couldn't be a good coach, or they don't want to share on social media. You can literally use the 3 F's, I feel, felt, found, for any objection that you get. So keep this in your toolbox and make sure that you start to use this in your conversations. It is what I use all of the time. So how this essentially works is, someone gives you an objection, right? Say, I don't have time to work out. I know how you feel. I felt that way too when I started my journey. I was a newly single mom. I was up every single night, barely getting any sleep. I was like drowning, trying to figure out life, right? But what I found is, when I made 30 minutes to focus solely on myself every single day, I had more energy. I felt happier. I felt like I could more easily manage single parenting, right? So you're essentially saying, I know how you feel, because it's connecting with them. You're saying, I understand how you feel, like I get where you're at. And then by saying what I found is, and inserting a positive story or experience, you're showing them the potential if they choose to overcome that, right? And like I said, this works for everything. It builds connection, it builds trust, and it helps them see things differently. Listen and understand, then respond and reassure. So again, do not take objections personally, and don't make assumptions. Don't just assume that because someone is giving you an objection about something, that's like the line in the sand, right? Seek to understand the underlying issue. So I like to look at the conversations and the objections that I'm getting, and kind of think, what might this person be struggling with? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the fear of failure? Is it skepticism about the coaching opportunity? Is it skepticism about what I do as a coach because they just think I'm selling them something? Is it worth the value, right? So I like to ask more questions. I like to get to know people a little bit more deeply, because I feel like when you ask more questions, you have a better opportunity to respond to that objection more effectively. So either they'll be ready once you overcome this objection, or you'll need to continue to build a relationship and follow up. But reassure them. I always say at the end of a conversation, even if someone tells me no, I'm just not ready, or we work through an objection and they're like, it's still just not the right timing for me, I always let them know I will be so honored to help you when you feel like you are ready, right? I'm always here. So letting people know that you are ready when they decide they're ready is really important. Okay. So now we're going to get more into specifics of objections that you might be getting. And like I said, these are the most basic objections that we get all of the time. So I wanted to cover these ones. And if you have something to chime in, please do. This first objection is I don't have the money and it's too expensive. So what I personally like to do in my conversations is I break down the cost. So I will let someone know, typically Shakeology is $129. Beachbody On Demand for the year is $99. Each meal plan, 2B Mindset and Ultimate Portion Fix alone are both $119. And you get that all combined in a bundle for $160, which includes my coaching and lifetime access to my wellness community and resources and emails and whatever, right? It is such a steal to have everything that you need to be successful with the goals that we have talked about. And when you break it down like this and you look at that and you think, okay, that's like almost $500, right, of things that they are getting for $160, and they have access for the entire year to every single workout that they could possibly need to start where they are and work their way up. That helps people see the big picture of the value and then the sale price that they're getting on it. What we just learned, I know how you feel. I felt that way too. What I found was, and this is part of my personal story, was I was spending $80 a month on coffee, probably close to $150 a month on takeout, and this was not me, but I just put this in there in case this was you. $15 a month on a gym membership that I never used, because how many people have gym memberships or pay for classes and then they never go to them, right? Because they don't have the accountability. And so spending that $160 might be a little bit more upfront, but what you're getting over the course of time is so much more beneficial. And what it helps people think is, how can I reflect on the way that I'm spending my money right now? And then is it investing in where I want to be a month from now, or 2 months from now, or 6 months from now, right? Because the things I was spending money on before I started were not helping me at all whatsoever with anything, right? And once I realized that, it was pretty easy for me to wrap my head around spending $180 on a challenge pack. Coaching. I always, when people give me a money objection, I always recommend the coaching opportunity. I think it is one of the best ways to interject people learning more about coaching, right? Because if people are telling you that they really don't have $160 to buy a challenge pack and work on themselves, it could be an incredible blessing to their life to share the coaching opportunity with them. And I keep it super simple. I just say, did you know that you can share your wellness journey, help others, and earn income? I was able to start and get my own package paid for, because when I was a new coach and I said I couldn't afford it, I helped 3 mom friends sign up, and I think I made what I spent on my challenge pack back in like a week and a half, right? And I say that to everyone, and some people say, yeah, I'd be curious about that, and some people say, no thanks. But either way, you don't know unless you ask, right? Compare. So comparison, I know Maggie talks about this a lot. I don't think Maggie's on tonight, but Maggie talks about all the time, like how our challenge pack is such an incredible deal. Like, she's so confident that I know she has said in her conversations, she'll be like, go compare to your local gym what a gym membership costs, how much it is for a nutritionist, a personal trainer, and how much you would spend on that a month to have access to what you get right now in a challenge pack, right? And people can't find that. And they don't get accountability most of the time with it either. So you save so much more in the long run. You can always default to the 30-day money back guarantee. I always tell people, if they're like super hesitant, you can do our workouts, you can follow the meal plan, you can drink your entire bag of Shakeology. If you don't love it, even if the bag is empty, you can get a full refund, no questions asked. I never in 7 years have had that happen, ever. except for 2 people, and it was because they had an allergy. It had nothing to do with them not liking it, right? But I am completely confident in saying, go ahead, give it a try. If you follow it, you will feel a difference. You will see a difference. And if you don't love it, you can get a refund. There's literally no strings attached, right? There's nothing risky when you're telling them that. And simplicity. What I found was, I don't know about you guys, but like, how many women can relate to the fact that like you see this diet and then that diet, and then you see this magazine and the grocery checkout line, and then you're on Instagram and this girl says to, only eat 2 carbs a day, and like you go to the gym and you walk around and you're like, what equipment do I use? And like, I'm going to go on the elliptical for 45 minutes. And I personally always found it really frustrating and confusing because I didn't have the combination of the proper fitness with the proper nutrition. And you get frustrated, right? Most people don't see the results they're looking for, so they think it's hard, and then they stop, and then they restart, and they try something new, and it's extremely frustrating. So I always let people know the beauty of this is the simplicity. It tells you exactly what to eat, how much to eat. Your workouts are no guesswork. You literally press play and get results, right? You drink a shake every day that makes you feel amazing. You check into a community for accountability that supports you. And I always let them know, when you invest in yourself, it makes you put skin in the game to show up. Because I knew when I spent $180 on a challenge pack as a single mom, you better bet your ass that I was going to show up to my workouts every single day and drink my shake and learn to follow a nutrition plan, because I was going to get what I paid for, right? So these are just some basics of what I may say in conversations. I would say the most common ones that I use are the top 3. It's very rare that I ever have to offer the money back guarantee, but it's always there if you kind of need something to fall back on. I'm curious, how many of you have ever used these in conversations before? Or is this new to you? I can only see a couple of your faces. Okay, I don't have the time. Who hears this one a lot? Again, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. I had to analyze the 24 hours of my day and where my time went. I spent a lot of time scrolling, a lot of time watching TV, just a lot of things that were just sucking my time, wasting my time, doing nothing with it, right? And it wasn't that I didn't have time, it was that I had to make the time. It's incredible how much your energy, confidence, health, and happiness improve when you dedicate a little bit of time to you each day. So that is something that I tell people. I'm like, trust me, I get it. Like, I was a single mom with a 1-year-old. Like, I had every excuse in the book about not having time. But the reality was, I was just not using my time wisely. I was not using my time intentionally. And that is the case for most of us. And that is the same objection for I don't have time for coaching, kind of along the same lines, right? It's, you have to know what is worth it to you to give up to have something different. Like, if we want something new and different, we want change, there's going to be something that has to give or has to go, right? Let's talk about your day. So just like I mentioned, in that 24-hour period, sometimes I will say to people, like, tell me what your daily routine looks like, right? And they'll say like, oh, I get up at 6 and I get ready for work and I'm out the door and I'm home by 3 and I blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, like, can you find a half an hour window in that time that you get home from work before you cook dinner for your kids? Is there a half an hour window that you think you could dedicate, right? Sometimes you have to help people figure that out so that they feel like, okay, you're right. Like, I could find time for that. Misconception, a very common misconception, that you need a ton of time to see results. A lot of people think you need to work out for 2 hours a day and eat chicken and broccoli to see results, right? And it's just not true. It's a common thought that we need a ton of time to see results. But with effective workouts, you only need 30 minutes a day, and planning your nutrition can take you an hour or so on the weekend. It makes life so simple when you have a plan. I tell people that all of the time. Comparison to what a different routine might be. If they're attempting to achieve the same goal, but they don't have access to all this stuff at home, right? They have to get ready, drive to the gym, wander around. workout, drive back home, shower, get ready for work, make breakfast, and the whole ordeal might take them 2 hours. Whereas this is the most effective way to build a habit of exercise and wellness into your day, which is ideal for the busiest of people. You can tell them a story about the women in our community or in your challenges, right? We have women from all walks of life in our community, working women, stay-at-home moms. It's so cool to see everyone show up, dedicating time to themselves every day. And I know you're totally capable of doing that as well. So it's a lot of kind of giving them a different insight and then cheering them on that they're capable of doing the same, right? Accountability and community and a coach is an often overlooked part of this that makes all the difference in encouraging you to show up every day. So it's totally different when you have a gym membership. Nobody's calling you at 9 a.m. every day to check if you're coming into the gym. They're not like, hey, it's been 60 days since you've swiped your pass. But when you have a coach checks in on you, right? And you also have your accountability group to check in on. And so that's a large draw for people, because a lot of time it's not really about the time. It's just that they're worried they're not going to be showing up, right? Okay. I don't like shakes and I don't want a protein shake. And I would love if you would chime in on this one, Kelly, because I'm sure you probably have a lot to say. But Shakeology is not a protein shake. It does have an incredible source of protein in it, whether it's regular or vegan, but it is truly like a nutrient-dense health shake that helps your body feel and function its best. And what I always tell people is when you cut calories or you go on diets, you're also cutting nutrition, right? Because you're supposed to be getting nutrients from the calories you're eating. So when we change our eating habits and we cut back on calories, and also with how food is processed and the soil it grows in these days, it's just not nutrient dense like it used to be. So we're not getting the nutrients we need, which ends up with us being tired, having cravings, digestion issues, falling off track. Shakeology ensures that you get what you need to feel your best, see results, and stay on track. I also love sending people the how healthy your shake video is. And also there's a really great Shakeology fit video from Alana. I can post those in the team page. I think they're in the Action Takers training section in that unit if you haven't seen it. I always send people a video about Shakeology. I'm like, check this out and like learn a little bit more about it. You don't need to know all of the ingredients, everything they do. You just need to know how it makes you feel, right? And how it's going to help them with whatever they're telling you they struggle with. Do they struggle with cravings? Do they struggle with hitting up the drive-thru every single morning? Like, where can you suggest that they fit that in their day to get a super easy meal? I always tell people the best results that I see from coaching women for 7 years are when women use the total solution, as in fitness, nutrition, and Shakeology. I can't guarantee you that you're going to get the same results as, say, Savannah, who crushed it in 2020 and has a mind-blowing transformation. I can't promise you that you're going to get results like that if you don't try the total solution. So I always suggest that give it an opportunity for at least 30 days and then decide. And again, you can use the feel, felt, found approach here too. Kelly, I want to give you time to chime in.
Yeah. So case in point, someone shouted me out in the diabetes moms group yesterday. I never share about things in those things. I don't want to be the poacher or whatever. I just don't. But people shout me out, which is really sweet. So I ended up going back and forth with some people that said, like, can I take this offline and talk to you more about, everything? Every single person immediately, I just want Beachbody on demand. Okay, awesome. I can do that for you. Like, we have this buffet cart of so many options. So let's talk to you about like what is best to hit your goals. And that's, once again, I'm not just then saying, okay, let's just do this. Let's do Beachbody on demand. I'm still not just working on getting that sale. I now just want to, like, what are you struggling with? Like, why are you looking for this right now? And we start going back and forth, and there's a lot of messages. And for me, it's always voice messages. And I start asking, what are their issues? So you really, that's where that feel, felt, found, but you are finding out what they need, because every single person is very different on what they need. Usually the biggest part is they are against Shakeology, and most of them are against it, but they don't know anything about it. It's just what they've heard from other people. I'm very, very big on telling them that, once again, this is the whole solution. You can choose this. You can choose right now and have a challenge pack that gives you every single thing that's going to help you get the results. You can have either nutrition, you can have fitness, or you can have fitness, nutrition, and the shake, and the program is designed of a component of 3. If you take away one piece of that, it's going to be harder to get there. You take away 2 pieces of that, it's going to be even harder to reach there. And my goal as your coach is to get you results. So let me tell you why I think this would be helpful for you. Shakeology, to be really honest, guys, is when you talk about it, is we are not, everyone in this world right now is low carb, keto, high fat, high protein. We are not a protein deficient country by any stretch of the imagination. And I tell people, Shakeology is the same amount of protein as a plain Greek yogurt. I'm not pumping myself full of all this protein. Actually, large volumes of protein are super taxing on your kidneys. It is actually not good for you to do that. So I tell them, yeah, it has protein in it, but it's actually not why I drink it. And the reason why I do is because of the nutrients that are in it, because when you're taking away all the other stuff to lose weight or achieve the goals you're looking for, you're typically cutting out all the nutritional value of those nutrients that we actually need. And that's why we're tired. That's why our hair is thin and our nails are cracking and our gut is crappy and so on and so forth. But when you get this one shake, it is a huge filler of helping fill those gaps that we're really missing. And I just tell people, if you don't like it, stop. Give it a try for a month. And I'm not going to force you to do anything, but I think it's super important for you to try it and see for yourself, like, does it help you? And if so, we'll keep it going. And if not, don't worry. So that's where the conversation goes, and letting them truly know, and speaking from your gut, how has it helped you? That's what they want to hear. Like, how has it helped you? As a busy mom, I can walk in the door and I have my lunch ready when I walk in from the hospital in 2 minutes and I'm done. That I want. I don't want to prep anything. If they have no time, God, give the damn shake. They're going to save 15 minutes of their day right there for them, and then they can go work out.
Yeah, I've actually, I love what you said about the protein thing, because I usually tell people that too. I'm like, they're like, I have my own protein shake. And I'm like, we are not protein deficient. Like, I guarantee you consume plenty of protein. What you're lacking is nutrients. We're lacking nutrients, not protein. Unless you want to be a bodybuilder. It's different, right? I've also heard some coaches explain it as in, if someone is going to drink Shakeology, say for like a breakfast, that getting a bag of Shakeology is like buying 30 meals. So when you break it down that way, it's like $3 a day, which it's kind of hard to get a healthy meal that's $3, right? Like, even if you're hitting up a drive-through for lunch, you're paying $12 for a salad with grilled chicken. Like, it can easily be a super simple meal on the go for really busy people that also want to save money. It's just about helping people see it that way.
And the other piece, guys, remember, is all of you can probably speak to, is when you have Shakeology, have you ever noticed in general your food consumption in general goes down? So you eat it for breakfast or you eat it for lunch. Do you find that you're not now going to the vending machine that afternoon? Or do you find you're not eating your kids' snacks as much in the afternoon, or so on and so forth? So they don't see it yet. And I actually am very open about that, saying, hey, look, I was super against it. That was the one thing that held me back. Like, I didn't think I was going to need this. I actually didn't even like it when I started. Like, I'm just tell them, I'm like, but I really wanted to see results. And I knew that if I wanted to see results, I just needed to try it. And I needed to give the program a chance. And then I can make a decision on whether it was going to be something I wanted to do. And thankfully, it's now been almost 6 years. So clearly it worked. But if I gave up initially, I would still be in the same place that I was 6 years ago. That made me super, just uncomfortable with myself. So I don't know. You just gotta speak to how it's helped you guys, because it is a very big component, and we do see very big differences of people that are using it in the groups with their results, with people that don't. And then they get frustrated because they see everyone else in the group seeing results, and then they just bail out.
Yeah, and I feel like my customers that stop Shakeology often after a while come back around and re-sign up for Shakeology because they feel such a big significant difference. I actually have a customer of mine who re-signed up this month after she stopped Shakeology probably 2 years ago when she was pregnant, and she's like, I've tried a million different shakes and like I just can't find one that does what Shakeology does for me. And I'm like, that's the proof right there. Like you could try a million things, but you're never going to find something that makes you feel that way. Um, okay. I have failed before, so I'm afraid. Has anyone ever heard of this one? Like I've tried a million diets. I tried a nutrition plan. I did a fitness boot camp. I always go back to falling off track. I always end up drinking on weekends, whatever. I always tell people we're different because you not only get all the tools you need to succeed, but you have the support and accountability of your community. So it's a powerful way to lean into a group. So I really talk a lot about our challenge groups and just the support of other women that are like-minded, that are working towards goals, that are all working towards losing weight or being healthier or having more energy for their kids. It's a totally different experience to be in a community surrounded by like-minded people working towards the same thing versus trying to do it all on your own where nobody gives a shit what you're doing every single day, right? I always reassure them that as their coach, I'm always here. If they need me, my inbox is open. They can text me, they can email me. I'll be happy to hop on the phone if they really need me. And I always say, give yourself the permission to try, to commit, to show up, to succeed, because this can be completely different for you, right? This is another great opportunity for you to share your own experience. Like, I get it. I tried these diets. I tried going to the gym. I did this. I did that. That didn't work for me. I couldn't be consistent and it was not maintainable for me to keep up with for long term. It was too hard to fit that into my life or
Hey,
my routine,
Amanda.
or it was
Okay,
too
so
strict,
here's the scoop.
whatever it
I
is.
think you definitely need a different insulin to carb ratio.
Really. You can't be.
Because when you look at your weekdays,
Okay. um, okay. And then I always suggest that people give me 3 months. I'm like, can you give me 3 months? Like, can you just trust me? Like, take a leap of faith, give me 3 months. Go all in on your fitness and your nutrition and drinking Shakeology. Um, this has completely changed my life, and I know it can do the same for you. Like, I have 1000% faith that anyone could join me and they're going to see significant positive changes if they really committed to do this with me for 3 months, right? That I ask people to trust me. I'm like, can you just trust me? I'm like, this has changed my life. It's changed so many women's lives that I work with. I would love to like help you find that same success. And then I always tell people about working on mindset. If there's something that sticks out to me in a conversation where I'm like, you know what, they need to read Eat That Frog to learn about time management, or they need to read The Compound Effect to learn how important consistency is, or they need to read Mastering Your Mean Girl because they sound like they talk really awfully to themselves, right? I am always happy to share a resource for people, or a podcast, like a podcast about self-sabotage or whatever. Um, and I just let people know, I'm like, fear holds us back from so many things in life. It does. It holds us back from so many incredible things because we're afraid to fail. We're afraid to not be good enough. We're afraid to whatever, right? But just as we work on our workouts and our nutrition, we must work on our thoughts, our beliefs, and our mindset. That is one of the most life-changing parts of this journey. So I don't hesitate to mention that to people right from the jump. That if they want to have success, that they're going to have to work through some things mentally that are keeping them stuck, right? And that goes the same for the coaching opportunity, because a lot of people saying no to coaching is often fear driven, and you have to help them work through that. Okay, I don't have time to be a coach. I'm pretty sure all of us said this at some point, right? So again, I know how you feel. I felt that way too. What I found was telling people your story of how you're working full time right now, how you're fitting it in pockets, how you get on team calls once a week, how you listen to national wake up calls when you're driving. whatever, like explain how you're finding pockets to work this business, right? I always reassure people that we have trainings and support. So we teach you the most important behaviors. You decide when to work it into your schedule. I will have open conversations with people of like, what makes you interested in coaching? Like, what are you looking to gain, right? And someone might say like, I'd really love to pay off debt. Or I'd love to make enough to cover my own products every month. Like, there can be so many different things that people say, right? And I say, well, what do you have to lose? Because if you decided to be a coach and you help a couple people and you pay for your own Shakeology and you get fit and healthy and happy because you're committed to yourself, did you really lose anything if you decide coaching is not for you? Even if you're like, nah, this is not my thing, I don't want to build a business like this, you didn't lose anything. You only gained, right? But on the flip side, what do you have to gain if you really gave this a shot and you really actually tried and committed and found some time in your life to work this in? It could change so many things, right? So having that talk with people about the potential of things, like what is it that really interests you? Like what made you drawn to learn more or talk more about this? Time gaps can be used effectively to grow something amazing. So imagine, I'll say to people sometimes, like, imagine if you gave up an hour of Facebook scrolling to put into working on a business, right? So many of us can say that has changed our lives, putting in just a couple hours a week towards something. You're working towards something. And then again, I always say we have women from all walks of life on our team, all different careers, all different backgrounds, who make this work for their life. That coaching is not a one size fits all opportunity. I know personally, one of the biggest objections I get about coaching is people say, well, I work full time, so I can't run a business like you, or I can't do what you do, or I'm not motivating like you, or I'm not whatever. But I didn't start here, right? I'm like, hi, I'm 7 years in. Like, I've been here for 7 years. Like, I'm a dinosaur. But when I started this, I knew nothing. I didn't post on social media. I didn't know a damn thing about network marketing. I didn't know anything about inviting people or sales or any of the skills that I have. I knew nothing about designing graphics or making stories, right? You don't need to know any of that, right? You start where you're at and you learn as you go. And I let them know that small sacrifices that I made, like I gave up TV the first couple years of coaching. I put time in on weekends. I would get up early weekend mornings and I would power hour every single Saturday and Sunday, right? Like, I sacrificed certain things in those first couple years of my business to build what I have built. But it's like, I have to connect the dots for people of this didn't happen overnight, right? Like, I started knowing nothing, just like you, and you learn as you go. But coaching is not one size fits all. Just because I do this full time does not mean you have to want to do it full time. It just means that you need to figure out what you would like coaching to be for you. And then I help mentor you to get there, right? So I'm curious. I don't know if I can see the comments while I'm on here. Oh, I can. I'm curious, you guys. Yeah, I know. I love that picture too. Um, I would love to know what objections you get about coaching, if any, if you're inviting to coaching yet. And if you're not, we need to change that.
Just I don't have time, or it's just not my thing, or I'm not into MLMs, or it's usually a time factor.
Yeah.
I'm just not, like, I don't have the time to do anything like that right now. I'm just too busy right now. Or, oh, I've heard about MLMs. I'm just not really into like an MLM thing. And I'm like, but those are the most common things I think I hear.
It's just not me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to be on social media that much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that one specifically, I think it's really important that you tell people. I mean, I've been working really hard on boundaries. If you guys haven't noticed, because this has never been my strong suit, like, ever. Like, I was on all day, all the time for many years, and I have been working really hard to work like business hours and then disconnect and like get off socials and like not be sitting on socials all weekend either. So, and the reality is, you guys, like, this is something we always have to work on as coaches, right? Because we can scroll all day long, But the thing is, what I try to do is when I get on Instagram and or Facebook, right, when it is my work time, I have
Important.
my
So
list of
here's my
what I'm doing
thought.
in that time. It's like, okay, I'm
Every
making new
time I look at
connections.
your sensor data
I'm
right
sending this
now,
many invites.
your two things
I'm
want to stick
sending
out.
audio
You're at
follow-up
14 days, your
messages.
two-week
Oh my
average is
gosh,
230.
Kelly. Only you, Kelly. Um, I don't know what the hell I was saying. Okay, so when I sit down, I know exactly what I'm going to do in that time frame, and I like to challenge myself because I am not by nature like a super disciplined person, whether you believe it or not. Like we're all squirrel brain, right? It's very easy to just like scroll and hear and stories and this and that. um I have been working really hard to be super super disciplined of like I'm sitting down, I'm doing my 15 minutes of new connections on Instagram, I'm sending 10 messages to new followers, I'm sending this many invites, I'm doing this many follow-ups, right? And I don't do anything until that is done, and it feels so good when you accomplish it. But then also if you make your posts on social media and you maybe 5 times a day, or even if you want to save them and do them all at once, pop in and sharing your stories, you technically could spend no more than an hour on Facebook a day and still run a successful social media business. It is a total myth and misconception that you have to be on social media all the time, all day, every day to run a business. You don't. It just has to be that when you are on social media, you do your business behaviors. And if you choose to scroll and watch stories, like we all like to follow people and see what's going on right in the world, is that, but that's not business time, right? That's not business work. That's you having personal time, the same that you'd be doing if you didn't run a business on social media. So we can't go ahead and say like, oh, I spend too much time on social media. Coaching really sucked me into social media. I'm going to go ahead and say that's bullshit, right? Because we spent tons of time on social media before we ever ran a business on it. And running your business and doing business activities on social media is very different than just engaging and scrolling and watching social media, right? So I think it's important that you mention to people you can do your business activity behaviors. You can schedule things. Like you don't have to be on and post every day in your groups. Like you schedule posts. There are ways to be organized to treat it like a business. And that's the thing. You just have to treat it like a business. Where is the chat? What else did I see? Okay, I like this one, Savannah. This is not an objection, but I think this is important. So you said it's hard to be disciplined as a new coach because you want so badly to be available to everyone in the beginning stages. I was like this for many years. I literally can remember giving Declan a bath and like answering uh, invites, like answering messages for people, like while I was giving my kid a bath, right? And I mean, granted, it's dependent on your situation and if you have a spouse and what your routine is like at home. But um, I will tell you that at some point in time, if you do not have boundaries to your business or you don't set business hours and you are available to people 24/7, you're going to end up resenting your business. I will tell you that from experience, because you then start to feel like you're at everybody's beck and call and that you don't have any time for you, or you can't get a break, or you can't get away from socials, or everybody needs me all the time, right? And that's exhausting. It's exhausting. And I had to get to the point where I thought, okay, like any other business in this world, they have business hours, right? The girl on the Monday night call was talking about this actually, where she was saying like, if you know a business opens at 9 a.m., like you better bet your ass that like, if you really want something from them, that you're going to show up at 9:05 on the door because you know they're open and you want to get in there and buy whatever it is you want to buy. We have to be the ones to set those hours, right? Or learn to start leaving messages in your inbox, because the reality is if people really want to join you and or talk to you, they're not going to disappear if you go to bed at 9 o'clock and you don't respond to them till 8 o'clock the next morning. And if you do, it's more like we end up kind of becoming slaves to people versus like running a business, which you don't want to create for yourself. Like I said, I learned this from experience. So figure out a way. to have pockets where you check in, and maybe something for you works like you check your phone for 15 minutes before you go to bed and you respond to those couple messages, but you know that during like dinner time and bedtime routine that you don't look at your phone because you're going to be present, right? Like set some kind of rules, boundaries for yourself around that, and you'll honestly find that you feel way more energetic when you do come to conversations because you're not just constantly on all the time. Okay. I wouldn't be a good coach and I don't want to be salesy. So coaching is not about being perfect at your goal weight, having abs. It is about being real, relatable, human, sharing the journey, the experience that you're committed to of self-improvement. You're sharing your journey to inspire others and see what is possible for them too. We talk a lot about this on our Meet the Team events. A lot of times, especially, and I can say I get this objection more now than I used to because I'm fit, right? Like when you're fit, not everybody relates to you. Or if I'm telling someone that I think they'd be a great coach, but they have a totally different body type than a lot of people will look at me and say, well, I can't do what you do because I'm not fit like you, right? That has nothing to do with coaching. So I always let people know you don't need certifications. The workouts and the nutrition programs are designed by professionals. So our job as coaches is to connect people to what we feel like would be most effective for their goals, and then support them, coach them, guide them, hold them accountable through the process, right? It is not about writing up nutrition plans. We don't pretend as coaches to be fitness trainers. We're not, right? We're like professional connectors and cheerleaders. We connect people to the tools that they need and we cheer them on through the process. And I always say we're always working on ourselves. It is super cool that self-improvement and always working to be healthier, happier versions of ourselves is literally a part of our job as coaches, right? It is. So it's the ultimate accountability. I always tell people, if you struggle, if you get this one, if you get the objection of like, I struggle to be consistent, I struggle to stay on track, like I always fall off. I always, just like when people give me a money objection, I always say, you should consider coaching. Coaching is the best accountability. If you find a couple people that will join you, that you want to show up for, I know for me personally, I don't know if anybody else can relate, I will give up on myself before I give up on other people. Like it holds me so accountable, even through all of the struggles and hardships and seasons of life, right? Knowing that I have other people that rely on me and that look to me or that I inspire makes me show up when shit is hard. It is the best accountability. It's what I always tell people. If you struggle being consistent, you should think about coaching. And that your story can help and inspire other people. Like whatever you are working on, there is someone out there that relates to that. And if you share that, you will connect to people that are just like you, and that you learn as you go. Nobody has a college degree in network marketing, right? Like there is no such thing. You learn as you go in this business. All right, that is the end of my slides. Like I said, I just went through the most basic ones. So if you have any other objections that you're getting, I would love for you to, I'm just going to stop my screen share. Okay. All right. I would love to hear from you guys. Is there any other objections that you are getting that you're not sure how to respond to? Or do you feel like these covered the ones you have and gave you some ideas of what to say? Can I, Ashley? Okay. Does everybody feel like we covered the objections you're getting? For the most part?
The important part, guys, is just don't let that be the roadblock. When you get an objection, use that as a time to just talk to them. Like find out more. Like as soon as all of us, because we've all been there, as soon as they say things and you just like deer caught in headlights and just like, okay, and like peace out, then it gives a not good feeling because it feels as though you really were in it just for something. But just find out like, also, like, I'm just super curious, like, why do you think this could be something that wouldn't fit for you? Or like, why do you think that this, this, you don't have enough time? Like, just really talk to them and engage with them. And it might not be a good fit for them, but just, it's like you're talking to your friend. Talk to your friend about why it wouldn't be a good thing for them or your family, or what, just get into it with them, because not in like a, going at them way, but they might then continue to keep watching. And then when they're ready, they're going to reach out to you, because you weren't just in it for a quick fix. You were in it really to find out for them, like, what would be good for them. Because I do think a lot of it is just, what is this, getting great, personally need to invite. Inviting is key, guys. We can't say to a blue in the face, but if you don't invite, you will never grow. I've been there. The first 2 years of me saying I'm a coach, I didn't get on team calls. I didn't invite. I didn't do anything, and therefore I didn't grow. But when you flip the switch and you really do start doing these things, like just simple inviting, and make it about them and just engage and have fun with it, then it becomes really fun. Like, it's fun inviting people and getting to know these people that you would never meet normally online, and inviting them to your crew. And becoming another family, which they really, really do. But you just got to do it. You got to start somewhere. Even if it's, I'm starting with 2 people a day, and then finding out, oh my gosh, this is actually really easy and kind of fun. Maybe now it's 5. Oh wait, then 5 turns to 10, 10 turns to 20. You just got to start. But you don't want to be starting in July. Like, you guys want to like rip it off.
Now, now at the beginning of the year when there's time.
Right?
I just want to add to, Kelly, since you're talking about inviting, I just want to add to this, because I think this is relevant for all of these calls that we've had this month thus far, is if you are hesitating to take action, you need to figure out what that fear is that's holding you back. Are you afraid of being rejected? Are you afraid of what people think of you? Are you afraid of being seen as salesy? And then I will say, once you figure that out, the only way that you are going to overcome that fear is by doing it. Like, all of us, myself included, at the beginning of coaching, were terrified. I was terrified of people rejecting me. Like, I can't tell you, like, I got some really awful messages from people of like, do you really think you're inspiring people by taking your shirt off and posting selfies, or like slinging fitness DVDs, right? Like, but those things fueled my fire, because I knew what I wanted to build, and I knew that I wanted to empower women. I knew I wanted to change my life. And like, the more that I did it, the less that I cared, the less that I was like, if it's not for them, fine. If they don't want to join me, that's cool. But for every single person that maybe will have something negative, and I would say I really don't get that much anymore, because I think people feel your energy and your confidence and your passion, and they see your excitement, right? And who, honestly, if judgment is something that you struggle with, does it really make any sense that people are judging you for doing something that makes you healthy and happy and that helps other people do the same? Do you really care if people judge you for that? I don't. Right? You're like, too bad. Maybe you should join us, right? I think that sometimes you kind of have to flip the things that you're scared of on their head, and you have to run straight into them, because that is the only way that you're going to realize. It's like that primal instinct in our brain is to stay safe and stay in comfort. And the only way for you to push through that is to do it. So I'm going to challenge you, if if that is something you're hesitating on doing, take some kind of action this week. Post in the team page and tell us how you feel. But that is how you gain courage. You gain courage, you gain skills, you get better at these conversations, you get more skilled and well-versed at invites and follow-ups and overcoming objections the more that you do them, right? We don't learn by collecting information and thinking. We learn by taking action and doing. So
don't forget, mentoring hours tomorrow at 11. You can hop on with us and we can help you with some invites.
Yes, we can.
Just in case. There you go.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful night. We will see you next week for the Meet the Team event. And hopefully we'll see all your beautiful faces on there.
Thanks.
Good night.
Bye, guys.